Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. The Evening Edition by J. Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is J. Claude McDaniel and this is Streaming News Network. We begin with our first report. Los Angeles City Councilwoman Nithya Raman is accusing Mayor Karen Bass of using political influence to remove her as chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee. Raman, who is challenging Bass in November, says City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson, a longtime Bass ally, was involved in the decision. She argues the move is political retaliation and says Los Angeles residents are paying the price. Raman also criticized Bass' signature inside Safe Homelessness program, claiming the administration has prevented an independent audit while spending hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. She pointed to her own district, where she says street homelessness has declined by nearly 50%. However, Raman's record is also facing criticism. 4 of the committee's first 8 scheduled meetings this year had been canceled by late May, while more than 130 items were reportedly awaiting action. Los Angeles's 2026 homeless count recorded more than 45,000 people experiencing homelessness, a 3.4% increase from the previous year. Bass' campaign has accused Raman of missing votes, canceling meetings and failing to deliver results, while defending the mayor's efforts to address homelessness and expand housing. This is Streaming News Network. A new audit of Albany County's employee timekeeping and payroll practices has identified more than $1.2 million in payments to hundreds of county workers whose specific purpose remains unclear. The audit found that 270 employees collectively received more than $1.2 million in enhanced pay between 2023 and the first quarter of this year. Auditors said the county legislature approved the overall funding, but it was unclear whether lawmakers knew which individual employees would receive increases exceeding 3%. The report also identified payments charged to departments that did not appear to correspond with employees' work locations. Auditors said the payments could have been bonuses, which are heavily restricted under state law. The audit further alleged that at least one former sheriff's office employee falsified time records while being paid by the county and an outside employer for the same hours. The matter was referred to the county district attorney and the state comptroller's Pension Integrity Bureau. Sheriff Craig Apple called that allegation false and criticized the audit. County officials say significant improvements have been made to timekeeping procedures since reforms were enacted in 2022 and 2024. This is Streaming News Network. A Chicago-based activist organization is offering college students stipends of up to $6,000 to organize protests against what it calls war and militarism on American campuses. The group, Dissenters, announced an anti-militarist organizing fellowship for students it says have been impacted by war and militarism. Participants receiving the fellowship are expected to spend at least 15 hours a week organizing and taking part in program activities. According to nonprofit tax records, Dissenters received approximately $305,000 between 2020 and 2023 through 4 grants from the Foundation to Promote Open Society, part of George Soros' philanthropic network. The grants supported the organization's fellowship and college student programs, as well as efforts involving national security policy. Dissenters says fellows will campaign for universities to cut ties with companies it considers connected to the military-industrial complex and oppose military and defense industry recruitment on campuses. The organization has previously faced criticism over its advocacy materials concerning Israel, Palestine, and militarism. The fellowship program has operated on college campuses since 2021. This is Streaming News Network. 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with a deadly shooting at a large gathering in North Memphis that left 1 woman dead and 4 others injured. Police say the shooting happened late Saturday night during a party on Brookins Street when a fight broke out and multiple rounds were fired before suspects fled the scene. The victim was identified as 34-year-old Dr. Shandrika Hayslett, who had recently earned her doctorate and was preparing to begin a new chapter of her life with her husband. Authorities say officers responding to the scene found 3 victims. Hayslett was taken to a hospital, where she was pronounced dead. 2 others were transported in critical condition, while 2 additional victims later arrived at the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis announced that warrants had been issued for 2 suspects, while investigators continue searching for additional information. Police say 3 suspects have been identified but have not released their names. Memphis Mayor Paul Young called the shooting a senseless act of violence and said the city must continue working to prevent gun violence. Police are asking anyone with information about the shooting to come forward. This is Streaming News Network. Senator Rand Paul says the gold stored at Fort Knox is still secure after visiting the United States Treasury facility in Kentucky and viewing the nation's gold reserves. Paul shared video from Fort Knox before entering the underground vault, saying the United States holds approximately 147 million ounces of gold, with about half of that stored at the facility. After the visit, Paul confirmed that the gold was present and said the inspection highlighted broader concerns about the value of the U.S. dollar and inflation. The senator argued that since the United States moved away from the gold standard in 1971, the dollar has lost significant purchasing power. He criticized federal deficit spending and said inflation has contributed to rising prices. Historically, the dollar was tied to gold, but the United States later moved to a system where the currency's value is not backed by a physical commodity. Paul had previously called for greater transparency regarding Fort Knox gold reserves, questioning whether the holdings had been properly verified. After completing the visit, Paul said the gold was there, but argued the larger issue remains the long-term strength of the dollar and federal fiscal policy. This is Streaming News Network. A Wisconsin teenager has been sentenced to prison after pleading guilty in the shooting death of his 15-year-old girlfriend. 17-year-old Javier Smith was sentenced to 12 years behind bars followed by 6 years of supervised release after pleading guilty to second-degree reckless homicide in the death of Azoria Jones. Police say Jones was found with a fatal gunshot wound on a Milwaukee sidewalk in September of 2025. Witnesses reported hearing the gunshot and seeing Smith flee the area shortly afterward. Investigators say Smith initially claimed someone else had shot Jones and later changed his account multiple times. Authorities say he eventually admitted he was responsible, describing the shooting as accidental. Surveillance video from a Milwaukee County transit bus reportedly captured the couple walking together before a gunshot was heard. The footage showed Jones falling and Smith briefly remaining near her before leaving the scene. Police also said Smith's grandmother called authorities after he arrived at her home claiming Jones had been shot. Smith was originally charged with first-degree reckless homicide and unlawful firearm possession by a person under 18. The weapons charge was dismissed as part of the plea agreement. This is Streaming News Network. A dispute at a Mississippi restaurant has sparked accusations of racial discrimination, claims of aggressive police conduct and calls for further review after a confrontation was captured on video and shared online. Tiffany Wilson says she and a group of friends visited Sippin' Silo Wine Bar in South Haven to celebrate her mother's birthday. Wilson alleges the restaurant refused to accommodate their group despite available space and says police were called after they questioned the restaurant's policy. Video circulating online shows a South Haven police officer confronting members of the group outside the restaurant. The officer can be heard ordering them to provide identification and warning that they could be handcuffed if they did not follow instructions. Wilson accused the officer of treating the group aggressively and refusing to hear their concerns. A second officer later arrived and helped calm the situation. The restaurant disputes the allegations, saying the issue involved a seating policy that limits parties to 6 guests unless arrangements are made in advance. Sippin' Silo says the group later returned with additional people, became disruptive and prompted staff to contact law enforcement. The restaurant maintains the decision was based on policy and behavior, not race. The South Haven Police Department and restaurant officials have faced public calls for additional review following the release of the video. This is Streaming News Network. Music legend Frankie Valli has sparked renewed concern among fans after the 92-year-old singer was seen using a wheelchair in Los Angeles following the cancellation of his remaining 2026 concert dates. The longtime frontman of the Four Seasons was photographed being assisted from a vehicle and later being pushed in a wheelchair outside a restaurant. Valli appeared to need help walking, but no specific details about his health condition have been released. In May, Valli announced that he was stepping away from touring for the remainder of the year to focus on his health. His representative said the decision was made so he could take time to recover rather than continue postponing performances. Valli, whose career began in the 1950s, became an international music icon with hits including Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, and Can't Take My Eyes Off You. He continued performing well into his 90s as part of the Four Seasons farewell tour. Fans have expressed concern in recent years after seeing videos from some performances, but Valli previously said he loves performing and intends to continue as long as he is able. The singer has been recognized with numerous honors, including induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. This is Streaming News Network. Decades after becoming famous as the unforgettable Lilith Crane on the classic television series Cheers, actress Bebe Neuwirth continues to capture attention with her timeless style and career achievements. The 67-year-old actress recently appeared at a New York red carpet event for the Netflix film Don't Say Good Luck, where fans praised her elegant appearance, including her decision to embrace her natural gray hair and signature curls. Neuwirth became a household name in the 1980s playing Lilith, the highly intelligent and famously serious wife of Dr. Fraser Crane, portrayed by Kelsey Grammer. The character later continued on the hit spin-off series Frasier. Beyond television, Neuwirth has built an acclaimed theater career, earning Tony Awards for her performances in productions including Chicago and Sweet Charity. She has also appeared in Cabaret and A Chorus Line. Neuwirth has said the stage has always felt like home, beginning her performing career as a child. While many fans remember her as the tightly styled and sharp-witted Lilith, Neuwirth continues to reinvent herself while celebrating a career that spans more than 4 decades. I am Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Thank you for watching and staying informed.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos, and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.